Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to Riding on Ruby. Well, I thought since Ruby's inside the house for the winter that I'd do like a 3 year review and just get you up to a little bit up to date on some of the things going on. Just in case you're new here to the channel or you never watched Riding on Ruby before, this is Ruby, my 2019 Street XG500. I bought her in September of 2020. She was 2019 leftover. I guess a lot of people didn't want to pay the extra money for the Wicked Red Deluxe paint scheme, and they always went with the Vivid Black or the black denim. And I think there was maybe another color like white or some type of white, but I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that, please. But anyways, I bought it, and like I said, in September, like at the very end of September, and they actually delivered it in the beginning of October. So for that year, I only rode for about a month, and that was on and off because of some of the cold weather that we had, in October here in southern New England. But my wife had passed away in July of that same year, so it was pretty rough just being in the house. So I thought I'd go back to riding after about 30 years a hiatus from riding, and that's why I ended up buying Ruby. But originally, I was going to buy, I wanted to get like a 1200 Sportster, and the deal was that I had $6,000 cash, and when my wife passed away, I had to go through probate, and the state of Connecticut stole, or what I call stole, $5,000 from her bank account. So I would have probably bought a new Sportster if I still had that money. So I took my 6,000 and went out looking for a 1200 Sportster. Well, for that price, the only thing that I could find was one that was like anywhere between 10 and 13 years old. And, now that I'm down on one, at that time, I'm down to one, income and everything, I figured, well, this is like a one-shot deal. If I don't buy something with this 6 grand, something's gonna come up, it's gonna be gone. I'm probably never gonna be able to come up with that much at once. And I really didn't want to do any kind of a loan. So I went looking at a lot of bikes with my friend Henry, and 1200s, and they were just too old and too much mileage, and you just don't know. For 10, 12 years old, you don't know what was going on with that bike. So one of the dealers, I saw the Street 750 denim black one, so I threw a leg over it, and wow, that felt pretty good. It reminded me of the last bike I had, with the mid controls and everything, and I liked it. So I'm like, well, you know what? This thing was only 5 years old, had under 3,000 miles, and it was going for like 5,000. So I figured, oh, I could get this out the door, work it out with the dealer or something. Hey, give it to me for 6 grand out the door, registration, tax, all that stuff. We got a deal. Well, we went to take it for a test ride, and the battery was dead. So I'm like, you know what? No, I'm not going to wait around for him to charge it or come back. If this guy's selling something, every bike on that lot should be ready to go. So that I just lost faith in that dealer. So my buddy Henry has some connections with old school Harley Davidson in Ellington. Called them up. I was talking with the salesman Sean. He's an awesome dude, awesome salesman. He'll sell you. You gotta be careful. He'll sell you the whole dealership. And I talked with him, and he said that he couldn't find any of the 750s, but he did say that he could find. He had a 500. Brand new. You get the 2 year warranty. All this bells and whistles, blah blah blah. He said it only had 6 horsepower less than the 750, so I'm going to take him on that. I mean, he knows more than I do. So I ended up giving him a deposit over the phone on a Wednesday. I went up there and checked it out on Saturday. They were just getting done detailing it and all that. He pulled it out. I looked at it, and I'm like, wow, that red color against all the blacked out body and parts and everything. I'm like, wow. I mean, blue's my favorite color, but when I saw that, it just pops. I'm like, all right, threw a leg over it, stood it up, nice and light. I like the way the handlebars felt. It was nice, the mid controls, just like my other bike. I'm like, you know what? I didn't even write it. I'm like, sold. That was it. Let me go sign the papers. So I did have to do a $3,400 loan, but I paid that off in like 5 months. I think it was like a 72-month loan or something, but I got it paid off, so she was mine free and clear. So, anyways, that was basically the story of why I got it. So now we get to the part where, all right, here it is, 3 years I've been riding Ruby. I don't, I've been on a couple of, like, I wouldn't say long distance rides, but maybe like a 100-mile ride total. But, I basically just bought her to save wear and tear on the car. At that time, I had a 17-year-old car that I bought new. And I just wanted to get back into riding. And I tell you, this was the perfect bike. When that first time I jumped on her and I went out, I mean, of course, all this stuff comes back to you naturally. Oh my God, what a feeling. And I just totally love this bike. I was, my intentions were after I got the 500, I'll keep it for a year. The dealer calls me up and says, hey, we'll give you 7,000 for it. Not even looking at it. Just come in. We got that NADA deal. We'll give you 7,000. We'll put you into a 1,200 iron. And I'm like, you know what? Why? I mean, I don't got to go around like, hey, look at me. I'm on this big fancy, expensive, CVO bag or something. No, I'm on two wheels and I'm riding. I probably would have been happy if I even got a 250 or something. But I wanted a Harley, and I ended up getting one. And from what I understand, the Revolution X motor was built and designed by Porsche. So basically, and that's something you could probably Google and look up, because like I said, I'm pretty sure that's what I've been told and everything. But so hey, I'm riding around on a two-wheel Porsche. That's pretty cool to think about that. But this motor, this Revolution X motor, which the second generation is the Rev Max. It's in the Pan America 150 horsepower. It's in the Sports Duress 121 horsepower. It's in the 975. I think that was, I can't remember what the horsepower was on that one. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, I totally love this bike. It's like I don't feel like why should I, when I own her free and clear, why should I trade her up when this is just perfect? She's 514 pounds. Easy to get in and out of the house, easy to get in and out of the shed during the riding season. Just a perfect all around. 3.5 gallon tank, 60 miles to a gallon. You can't beat that. The speedometer, I like the speedometer. I notice like a lot of people in the group I'm in for 750 and 500 owners, a lot of them, their gauges are different. But I got the regular analog speedometer, but then it's got the digital screen at the bottom. So you have the odometer, and then you have a clock, and then you have trip A, separate trip B, and then the one I like is the last one. On one side it shows you your gears, and the other side of that same screen shows you RPMs. And they claim this could go up to like 8,000 RPMs. It would love to be up like that. I don't think I've ever got it over 5,000 RPMs, but like I said, I bought her just to kind of tool around town and run little errands and just to enjoy being out riding again. And this bike is perfect. I only had one incident where one time I was riding to work and there was some fluid or something that looked like it was on top of the primary. And I'm like, oh my God, what's that? So I called the dealer. They came and picked it up because something's wrong. I'm not going to ride it there. And it's like an hour ride. And, they looked at it. They said they couldn't find anything. So, they sent it back. Of course, it came back for some reason with a dead battery. So that was a pretty big chore to replace a battery in one of these things because they're buried way under the seat and way behind the motor. So it was a chore, but I made a video on that in case you want to check it out. It's up there, you know, battery change or something. But I mean, you know, it's just a perfect bike. Just you know, they purposely made this bike. And that's why they named it the Streets, because it was made for like being in like city. You know, where you know you're gonna you know cut in front of somebody, but you gotta have that quick instant power. The minute you hit that throttle, boom, that power band kicks off. That low torque, boom, and you go. And now you're you know you didn't get hit and mashed you know from behind from the car, and it's you know good. It's got nice suspension. It's got nice springs. You know, preloaded. You know, a couple of different you know settings you could do on that, and it's just a very comfortable ride. So I mean, I'm never gonna get rid of Ruby because, like I said, I mean, why? You know, she's a perfect bike. And there's a few modifications that I did. You know, but and I'll kind of get to them in a minute, but I mean, anyway, so that leak that turned out is I was kind of messing around, feeling around at the bottom of the bike, and I saw that there, or I felt that there was a drain tube for the overflow for the coolant. So I'm like, you know what? That was like, there's a little flat piece of the metal and it was right against it. And I'm thinking maybe, you know, it started to like, you know, get rid of some of the overflow. And then maybe it kind of hit that because it was like maybe a 16th of an inch off this metal. Maybe it squirted out and then it just kind of splashed all over because I've never ever had that. And that was like in 2021. And I've been riding her since and I've never had that problem again because mainly too also because when I was feeling around I felt that and I moved it away from that, so now if it like leaks or whatever it's just gonna go out. It's not gonna like hit that metal and just splatter everywhere. And then the only other thing, the other problem I had besides that was, like I said, the battery. I went to the dealer and when it came back it seemed like the battery was dead. I don't know if they accidentally left the key in or maybe you know the battery was just timed to run out. Like it probably sat for a year, being a you know 2019, and I bought it in 2020. So maybe the battery was just worn or whatever. But I ended up putting in a Die Hard and you know from the local parts store, and it never had an issue since. So anyway, but at least when that happened, I learned how to find the error codes and delete them, and you know find out what they are and what they mean from the speedometer. And I did a short on that, and that gets quite a bit of views. I mean, every time I check my analysts, that short is always there. That's one of the ones that somebody's always checking out. So anyways, let me just run through a couple of the, you know, some of these modifications that I did. So I'm going to move the camera, so forgive me for that. Now it's kind of shitty in here, but yeah, you can't even see that. Let me get a light. I don't know if this light's going to help, but the first modification I did was right here with this brand slip-on muffler. I mean, it's an auto tune. You don't gotta like retune it or nothing like that. You know, it was cheap. I was gonna get the Screaming Eagle nightstick, I think it was called, and they ended up wanting like $350 or something like that. Well, anyways, I found this one through Walmart.com. I tell you, people think I'm crazy, but I love Walmart.com because they have a lot of other companies that they use as part of them. And I bought that like on a Sunday, and it was like $218. And I watched some videos on it. They had that, and I think the other one was called the Grand Prix by Firebrand. But I liked the Loose Cannon one better. And I ordered it on a Sunday, and it was delivered the next day on Monday. And it took like maybe 10 minutes to switch them off. And it's what a big difference with the sound. Now it sounds like a Harley, not like a sewing machine. And then the next thing that I did was the mirrors. The mirrors used to be up on top, but you know, I'm 6 feet tall, maybe right on the borderline of too tall for this bike. and all I could see was my shoulders. So I thought, well, maybe I could take them off, and here's the mount for them right there. So I thought, well, maybe I could just take these off and then, reverse them and put them in upside down. Well, you can't, because these holes don't go all the ways through. So I ended up finding these bolts from like the hardware store, and I put them in there just to help, cover it up so no dust or anything gets in there. And this way, if I want to go back to some other version, I could pull those out and put some other mirrors in. So I ended up getting these other mirrors right here from, of course, Walmart.com, and they were like $25 for the set. And when I saw that they were red and black, like Ruby's red and black, I'm like, oh my God, that's awesome. So these only situation with those where, and you might be able to see it better on this one, is I had to buy these handlebar mounts. And I ordered the handlebar mounts in 10 millimeter because at the end of the stem right here, there was a 10 millimeter. But they sent me an 8 millimeter, but luckily it came with that little silver or color looking, that's an adapter. It goes from 10 millimeter to 8 millimeter, and they put them, and so I was able to put it into these handlebar mounts. And I love them underneath there. I could see everything really clear, perfect. And I think those mounts were like around $22 for the set of them. And again, Walmart.com. So, and then another thing that I wanted to add a little bit of chrome, so I ended up getting this air filter cover, of course the Willie G. So I ended up getting that. And then I went out and bought the Willie G foot brake pedal pad and the shifter pad. And I had, these are the stock foot pegs, but I'll get to that in a minute. I got dust, Ruby. And then I also have the Willie G front axle covers, axle nut covers. So it just adds a little bit of chrome. I think my cat Jasper wants to go for a ride. And then over here, of course, this is the Willie G original shifter peg. And then I put an alarm on her. Now these saddlebags, that was a great deal on these saddlebags because I got these through Amazon.com. Sorry, Jasper, but I'm trying to make a video here, buddy. So I got these from Amazon.com. And the deal with that was at the time where if I applied, whether you got it or not, the Amazon card, that they would take $100 off your order. Well, these saddlebags were like $127. So I applied for the card. They gave me the instant $100 off. So I paid $27 for them. They're throwovers, and I got the 2-up seat. So I was able to like put it underneath that, and this, when you screw it down, that's help hold them in place. Plus I put some zip ties on there here and there, so this way they're stable, they're not gonna move. And then this, I got the, what do you call that, the luggage rack, which you really can't see too good. But I got the luggage rack, God bless America. And it came with the uprise, with the padded uprise. Now, if you bought that from Harley, you would have to buy the uprise, the pad separately, the uprise separately, and the luggage rack separately. But I did buy the docking, because this is removable, so I did buy the docking kit from Harley. But I got this whole system through Amazon.com. And it was like a third of the price from Harley, because everybody knows Harley wants a lot for what they have. And then I threw this little Bluetooth speaker. It's got a 40-hour charge, so when she's in the shed being charged on the battery tender, I just plug this in to recharge it. But that thing sounds awesome when you're riding. And then, of course, the one thing that's important is you can't forget one of my two favorite people to watch, and that's Hippie Trev in Australia. And there it is. Keep your knees in the breeze. And my other favorite person is Red Ryder in Canada. So go check out Red Ryder in Canada and Hippie Trev in Australia. All right, people. Let me click you back onto the table. All right, so there we are, people. I didn't want to make this too long, but just wanted to give you a little quick update. You know, hoping to get Ruby out like last couple of times was around mid-April, so we still got a way to go. Think there's a couple of things I'm thinking about maybe changing, you know, and adding on to Ruby, but I haven't totally, you know, figured that out yet or decided, so I'm not going to mention it yet, but of course I'll let you guys know when I do. But anyway, so that's about it. I mean, I would totally, I always recommend this bike. I mean, you know, hey, people say, oh, that's a baby bike, a girl bike. Hey, I don't care. I got a Harley and I'm out riding and I'm loving it. I've been riding with baggers, dressers, you know, Honda 750 Shadow, you know, just to go around town, go on a back roads. I mean, she'll do 85. But you know, you're just going around, you know, around town. I don't even go on highways in my car if I don't have to. So I just love going on back roads and just tooling down the road, like it's supposed to be a cruiser. You know, it's not like some rice rocket or something. It's just cruiser. So, anyways, I totally love this bike. I would recommend it to anybody, whether they're starting off or there's a couple of guys that I seen that have bikes like this because they're older and they're having problems with their knees and stuff, and they decided to trade in their heavy baggers and go down to something smaller because you're still riding. You're out riding. So, anyways, people, I hope the weather's nice where you are, and it's really cold and windy here today in southern New England and Connecticut, and it's horrible weather. But anyways, maybe some snow coming on Tuesday, and today's Sunday. So I hope it's better where you guys are. All right, people. As usual, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. You know, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it. And as usual, people, peace out.